I think everyone remembers that heart-stopping few minutes right before the Curiosity rover landed on Mars. Probably not many of you would know that that parachute system, that amazing system you just saw, screaming towards Mars and carrying the rover, was traveling at more than twice the speed of sound. And the person who built that amazing system for an alien world is the person sitting next to me today. Her name is Dr. Anita Sengupta, and that system that she built, the one you just saw in that video, that amazing parachute system, is just one item in what has been a spellbinding career that has transcended, literally transcended worlds, dimensions, measurements, and everything we think we understand about the world. Now, a formal description of Dr. Sengupta would be that she's an aerospace scientist, she's a rocket scientist, she's an engineer, she's a pilot, she's a veteran of the space program. But I have followed Dr. Sengupta's work for a long time, and I have a name for her. I'm going to call her a dimensional ninja, because that's what she is. And you'll agree with me by the end of this talk, because everything that she's done, everything that she's dipped her fingers into has pushed up against dimensions. The systems that she's built, the science that she's conducted, the machines that she has researched and developed currently power spacecraft that are in the asteroid belt. She led a team of scientists that have created the coldest spot in the known universe on board the International Space Station. And when Dr. Anita Sengupta isn't turning the physical world on its head, she is someone who also spends her time, and I need to refer to my notes because this is a long list. She's a pilot, she's a sports motorcyclist, she's an advanced open water scuba diver, she's a mountain biker, she's a high-speed sports motorcyclist, she's a snowboarder, she's a mountaineer, and a runner. So clearly she hasn't been doing very much with her life. I want to start, Dr. Sengupta, by first of all saying what a privilege it is to have you here at the India Today Conclave. You've been an inspiration to thousands of people here in India, I can tell you, and I'm sure you've seen that on your travels. But I want to start with that video we just showed our viewers. Those amazing few minutes, I remember it. I was in the India Today newsroom, watching that video when it happened. Was that the highlight of your career? Seeing something that you developed, something that could have gone completely wrong, in an alien world, twice the speed of sound, landing successfully. What was that like?
It was probably the most frightening aspect of my career, just because when it's actually landed, it happened 14 minutes ago due to the distance between Earth and Mars. It was probably the most scary thing, but it was also the most exciting thing.
It's been described as 7 minutes of terror. And we've seen some of those images inside the control room. We saw the absolute ecstasy on the faces of the scientists and the telemetry engineers and those who were observing. Where were you when that was happening?
So that is the primary control room that they show on TV, but there's actually an entry, descent, and landing control room, which is in a different building, where we're bringing in all the telemetry and analyzing to see whether or not every aspect of the mission is happening. Because one of the reasons why you do these missions is you learn from them. So in the event things don't go quite right, you want to know when it didn't work out so you can learn from that and build that into the next system that you design. So there's an engineering control room, which isn't shown on TV, and then there's the primary one that you see on TV.
Dr. Sengupta was 6 years old when she was watching Star Trek and Doctor Who on television. And I read somewhere that there was one magic moment when you were 6 years old, and everything that you've ever done since then followed from that one moment. Tell us about that. Was it really you watching Star Trek, being inspired by it, and deciding, that's all I want to do now?
Well, so my father was a PhD mechanical engineer. He actually went to IIT Bombay, and so I used to watch reruns of Star Trek with my dad, so I always was fascinated by space exploration and the potential for alien worlds. So I really did always know that I wanted to do that. It was more a question, do I become an engineer like my dad, or do I become an astrophysicist? And I went the engineering route.
Dr. Sengupta actually had the honor, and William Shatner also had the honor of meeting Dr. Sengupta. We've got some images that we're going to put on that screen for you, where you actually got to meet him. Captain Kirk from Star Trek himself. There's that picture where she's meeting, the guy who played Captain Kirk for his show, I Don't Understand, where she was talking about, many of these things. And he actually asked you a really, really great question that I think most of us would want to know. Why do we want to go to Mars? Why is there such a big effort to want to go to Mars?
So I think it's in the nature of humanity to explore, and in the past people would explore by going to different continents, exploring under the ocean, and now the next phase of exploration is exploring space. And it's also natural for us to want to expand as a species, and so one of the easiest places for us to get to and actually set up a colony is on the surface of Mars, just because it's only one planet out from us. So I think it's just in the nature of humanity to explore and push the envelope.